So very first try to understand what is the meaning of data pre-processing. So whatever is processed or whatever we want to process, before processing it, whatever type of processing we do is called as a pre-processing. I hope a little smile is on your face. So as its name suggests, pre-processing. So suppose I want to process certain data, okay? So I will apply certain commands, statistical commands, certain calculation, or some kind of different programs I will use to process that particular data. But the thing is, whenever we are processing data, it is our requirement that the data should be good data, clean data, not a dirty data. Now, again, some words like dirty, clean. So, what it means actually? So, for example, suppose there are 60 students in your class, and one form is shared with you to fill that particular form. For example, feedback form. So, in that feedback form, there are 10 fields, 10 questions are asked, and you have to fill information for those 10 fields. Now, out of 60 students, suppose only 20 students have responded for some of the fields. And now the higher authorities are asking, give the feedback of that particular teacher. So based on this 60 student strength class, if such data is analyzed with the 20 responses, what you will say, whether that is a true feedback for that particular teacher, so it will not be. Okay. So what is required? If we want a correct analysis for that data, we need to very first clean the data because it is a dirty data. What do you mean by dirty data? Some information is incomplete, some fields are not filled by the student. So we need to fill those gaps, or if every student have not given any information for that field, that maybe we have to discard that particular field for consideration. This is one way we can do it. Or another thing is, if some of the students have responded, then average of it or the most probable answer, mostly answered, such type of things can be utilized to complete that information. Now that is about one or two attributes are not answered out of 20 responses. Now what about those 40 responses? If those 40 responses are not there, and if we are saying that that particular teacher is having very good performer or very poor performance, so is it a good analysis? So it will not be. Okay. So it is necessary whenever we are processing. So what I want to process? I want to process the data of 60 students. And what data I am available with? I am available with only 20 student data. That is not also a complete data. So if to the extent we can do the pre-processing of this data, that means we can fill the gaps or we can make the data consistent, whatever problems are there in that data which is to be finally analyzed, then that type of processing is called as data pre-processing. Okay. So in short, in general life, day-to-day life, so whatever example I have given, it is a very, very common day-to-day life example. Okay, so such many examples are existing in which you need to fill the form, and if the things are not mandatory, okay, those fields are but obviously kept blank if the people are not interested in filling it, and that leads to a wrong analysis, and wrong analysis leads to a wrong decisions, right? So it is necessary that you should pre-process that data before actually giving the correct statistical analysis. So what is the meaning of dirty data? It is having incomplete data, that is lacking attribute values, lacking certain attributes of interest, or containing only aggregate data. Okay. So for example, this nothing is written, occupation. So if I'm interested how many managers are there in the company, and if such information is available, then what will happen? It is going to give me wrong information. Noisy data containing errors or outliers. Now, errors or outliers means, so error can be generated from either some automatic machine data generation or with the human error, uh, printing mistake, something like this are the errors we can say, and that is considered as a noise in the data. Now, what are the outliers? So, for example, there is a class, your class, and on an average, suppose uh, at max, very good student is also having suppose 90% of attendance, and somebody's attendance is marked as 100%. Okay, so that can be considered as a something out of the box or outlier. It is a outlier 100, which is not coming in the range of all the data which is available. Or suppose some subject, very theoretical subject, and it is assumed that in that subject everybody will pass, and they have written the content very nicely, uh, and they will pass. And suppose out of 60 students, 3 students which are very good students suppose gets failed. Okay, so again, if we mark this, the marks on the graph, so they will be appearing at very different position as compared to all marks. Everybody has got suppose 50 and above, and this 2 3 people have got marks like 5 or 10. Okay, so if you will, can you imagine what I'm trying to say? So there will be a huge crowd of points after 50, but there will be only 2 to 3 points which are lying near the uh, your x-axis where the 10 value is there, for example. So such type of elements in your graph or in the total data set which are showing very different kind of uh, properties or values as compared to all the data in a given data set, then such thing is called as outliers. So here the example, salary cannot be minus 10. So it is a mistake. Okay. Then inconsistent data is also called as dirty data. So containing discrepancies in codes or names. For example, age is 42 and birthday is like this. So it is not possible. If so, there is a correlation between this age and the birthday. So either of this could be easily achievable correctly. Okay, so this is giving you the inconsistent data. Was rating, okay, 1 minute, yes. Then discrepancies between duplicate records. So like this are the cases by which we are getting a uh, errors or incompleteness or dirtiness in a given data which is to be processed, and we require to clean it, and for cleaning we need a data pre-processing. Now how we or why it is dirty, I have already discussed that. So incomplete data may come from not applicable data value when collected. Then different considerations between time and the data was collected and when it is analyzed. Then human hardware software problems. Then noisy data, incorrect values may come from faulty data collection instruments. Then human or computer error at data entry or errors in data transmission. Similarly, inconsistent data may come from different data sources, functional dependency, violation. Example for it will be modify some linked data. So you must be learning in database management system, and how so referential keys. So if you are not changing the reference table and you are trying to change the referenced table, so again you will get a inconsistency. And then duplicate records also need data cleaning. So like this are the why the data is dirty. Why it is important? So no quality data, no quality mining results, right? So quality decision must be based on quality data, and data warehouse needs consistent integration of quality data. So data extraction, cleaning and transformation comprises the majority of the work of building a data warehouse. So these are the different measures for data quality, and you are aware of it, or you just go through it: accuracy, completeness, consistency, timeliness, believability. So if you are giving age as 150, okay, so it is unbelievable data. Value added, interpretability, and accessibility. All these are the good quality of uh, data. Now, what are the different tasks in data pre-processing? Because we are going to use some of the tasks in this assignment. So we are going to do this data cleaning. So how we do? Filling the missing values, smoothing noisy data, identify or remove outliers, and resolve inconsistency. So like this are the different tasks which we can do in the data pre-processing. So we will be concentrating on especially the data cleaning.